All right, hey guys, we're ready to get things started. Ready to introduce you to basic camera production 101, setting up tripods and cameras. We're here, my name is Andrew Savage, and I'm here with JC Harris, and we're gonna give you a basic understanding of how this process goes. We have a bunch of other people that's gonna be working with us on this project. We have Dave Collette in the corner. He's going to be our house engineer. We have the generous production guru, master, Nate Page, who was generous to donate a long lens sports camera with a Hitachi build. And he also donated this camera, his Hitachi 20 by lens. And we're going to give you all a basic setup of how this production is done. Okay, so I'm going to let JC take it away because he prepared some slides for us to give you a basic understanding of some of the principles in camera production.
All right, thank you everybody for showing up. I know it's October and everybody's busy, but I'm glad you guys showed up here for the class. As you see over here, it's the intro to basic camera operation. And you see here, put their photography concepts, framing the shot, balancing the camera, and hands-on operation for a camera. Next slide. So this is the slides again, just showing exactly the steps we'll go through. Next slide. And building the camera is the first part we're going to start with today. So next slide. And the main thing when I showed this, the symbol of the yin and the yang here is about balance and harmony. And the main thing is building a camera from the start and always maintaining balance with the camera. The reason why is because when you're shooting, as long as you have an evenly balanced camera, you can make any adjustments possible. You don't have to worry about shake and vibration, especially when you're pushing very far. So let's start with doing the tripod build. So actually, we built the tripod already. You see this is a two-stage tripod here. Or it's a three-stage, but we have the two stages extended out right here. Definitely start from the bigger legs, then go to the next legs to lift up. And then from here, we go on to getting the camera out, which actually, do we have a shot? Can we get right here? Oh, okay. So then, as you see here, well, I wish we could point down a little further so they get inside the case, but Drew's going to sit here and grab the camera.
Okay, this is your body. Okay, this is the body of the camera. This is a Hitachi 4K HD, and this is the body. So first we'll start with getting the body out, and we're going to check to make sure that we have all the parts. The most basic thing when you're dealing with a camera and you're dealing with the production of parts for a camera, you want to look at the case, you want to survey everything in it, you want to make sure that you know if everything's in it, everything that you need is going to be in it. So first of all, you grab your camera, you get your camera out, and you make sure you're paying attention to all your parts. So when you get ready to disassemble it, you want to be able to put everything back in its proper place to make sure that we have everything that came with the camera. Okay, so then we take out our parts. You can start by assembling the camera. And what JC is about to do now is he's gonna. What you need?
So actually, we've already balanced this camera earlier. We built it to make sure for time purposes. Right. Because usually what you have to do is when you put the camera on, you have to basically figure out, once you add the attachments, you always have to recheck the weight to make sure the camera always maintains balance. So what we did is we took the plate and slid it all the way to the front after we put the monitor on in order to do a quick installment on this.
Okay, all right. Well, one minor thing here, I want to just stop for a second. We're going to take this off and turn it around because it's actually backwards. Yeah, because it won't be balanced once you put the viewfinder on it. So just take this off, and evidently this seems to be some kind of, yeah. So it's a snap dock plate. So once you put this in, right here on the back of the camera, I wish I had something to show you in better detail, but in the back here is a knob, and this is a release knob. It's a quick release knob, and it's important to know where these things are. So when you're assembling and disassembling a camera, so when you have to take this dock plate off, you just gently press on this spring-loaded dock plate, this dock release, and it'll come right out. it also click, and it'll let you know that it's gonna stay in place. So when you put this on, you just slide it on, and you're gonna hear a click, just like that, and you know it's mounted and it's secure. Okay. Now we can start by assembling the camera. Now this camera, every camera plate is different. So some are totally, okay. Beautiful. Okay, he got it in there.
Yeah, make sure it's steady when you're locked and stable.
Yeah, you want to make sure you have good stabilization on here. You want anything to be too loose because you don't want anything to get away from you. You don't want to cause a problem when you're assembling your build. Okay. Secondly, let's get this nice and firm. So we're gonna tighten. I'm gonna tighten my pan so I don't have it where it'll pan out of control. So I'm using the knobs down here because these are guide knobs and they have tension numbers on it. And you will set those to the consistent number that you would want when you're trying to pan during an event, a live event or talking heads or whatever production that you're putting on. Okay, so once we do that, also put some drag on your tilt also. And that's another adjustment right here on the side. Here, I'll turn it for you guys in the room. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but right here, our adjustment is adjustment reel. It also has numbers on it. And these numbers, you adjust them for your tilt and your pan. And that allows you to have fluid motion when you're trying to execute a particular move during the broadcast. Okay? From here, since we got everything in a, oh, look at this, just check. So we got to check down here and make sure this is tightened. So take that off for a second. Yeah, and just tighten that. Make sure that's tight, nice and tight. So you always have to check for those type of things. Go ahead, you can tighten that, and I'll just give them awareness of what's going on. So in basic tools, we'll have a Leatherman, which is a standard tool in camera production. But if you don't, our trusty standard tool, when you don't have those, are a coin. A nickel actually works much better, but right, exactly. But we rather use basic tools. But the most important thing is not to over tighten anything. You heard that click again? Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're gonna, I wanna assemble the lens. So let's start with that lens and put your lens on. And if you notice about a camera, it comes with a protective cover over the eyepiece to the body. So this is to make sure that you don't get any kind of fragments in there that'll distort the image when you start to shoot. So, and he also has a cover on the back of the lens also. Sometimes some builds come already assembled, but in some cases they don't. So for this, right here is a release ring, and you would just turn this ring slightly with this pin on it, and you got to be gentle with this because a lot of equipment, they'll lose these rings, they'll lose this pin, and this pin is very important for locking this ring. Okay, now inside of here is a notch, and this is a guide notch to allow you to assemble your lens, and it's going to help your lens sit perfectly onto the camera. Okay, JC is about to assemble that. I'll take this from him, and just take your time, line it up. You're going to feel it. Don't do any turning, and you slowly just level it off. I'm going to touch it with you at the same time. I don't want to throw your hands off. Just take it. Okay. Reset. There we go. Okay. You got to rotate it slightly because it seemed like the pin. Take it out. Let's take it out because it seemed like it moved. There we go. Right there. Don't move. Tilt your wiggle it to the right or left, and you're going to feel it slightly lock. You're moving it too much. You got to keep it flat. Okay, so this is, sometimes you'll run into this issue. Here, let me take this out, and I'm gonna assemble this. Let me just take care of this part. Here, you hold this for me, and this, and I'll take care of the lens. All right. So
all right.
On this lens back here is a notch, and it also has a red color on it. And also there's a guide pin right here. And you have to look right into this, right into here. You got to make sure this is set to an open ridge too. There's an open ridge here, and this will allow you to assemble this lens directly into place. So I just heard the click, just like that, and voila, just like that, it snaps right on, you know, okay? Secondly, there's a push pin, which allows this, the camera, the lens to work with the body. So I'm gonna assemble this, and everything, certain things about this, you're gonna hear something. Put that closer to this, put it right here. Yes, put it right here. So look, you hear that click? That means that lens is assembled, and it's securely attached, okay? From this part, then we go back to our case, and we're looking for the other parts that we need. Okay, so in this build, we're gonna start with our controls, and JC is gonna grab his control. Just start one at a time. Don't overdo it. Okay, and depending on what hand you are, that's how you assemble your lens. And also on the lens, there's a part called a control block, a focus block, and you have to make sure that you have the right fittings for this block on the back of this lens. I mean, on the front of this lens. And JC is now, he's applying the controls. Everybody has a certain way to do it. Right-hand people, they'll put the controls on the right-hand side. You know, left-hand people, they'll put it on the left-hand side. You know, okay, okay. Turn this over. Okay, and loosen it. Because I like to apply even pressure so that everything will work smooth. So when you grab it, if you're moving, you're trying to make a move, you don't want anything to be improperly tensioned, and it'll do something weird, you know. And you don't want to lose control of it. Okay, tight. Okay, and now right around the underneath the lens here, there's okay, yeah, there's a pin. There's it's right here. It's right here in the front. Here, let's see. This pin turn it this way, so maybe the guy in the back can catch it. And there you go, right here. There's a pin right here, and you rotate it slightly. There's a groove and a notch in it. Everything has a particular a way that it's assembled, and it'll help you assemble it right, but you just have to know exactly what you're doing. And that's exactly why we're having this discussion right now, and this is introduction class, okay? And from there, this control that he put on is the zoom control. And the patch that he put in is the zoom function control. So this is how that control works on this lens. Now he's getting ready to put in the focus controls. And for the focus controls, you have to actually pay attention to the focus block, because the focus block tells you in the lens that's attached to the lens. It tells you what control cable you need. For this one, it seems to be a square, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but right here is a square, and inside of this, and you actually most lens, when they're building them, they actually don't allow this to travel attached to the camera because you could damage it. So sometimes they like to disassemble them. Sometimes you'll get people, they'll just wrap it and make it safe and travel, and they'll pack it safely. But this is very important, okay? And from here, I like to start where you attach from the back first. Yeah, just go. And once he gets it lined up, it's gonna slide right in, and he's gonna notice, you're gonna start seeing this move, the cable, control cable. See, right now, it's moving. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's actually rotating. So from here, we'll just take and guide this right here, and if you pay attention, you'll notice that right here on the lens, you can see the iris, the focus starting to move. So keep moving it, just so that's showing you that you have control now. So now you can start locking it in and screwing it into place. All right. Sometimes it could be a little ornery, but you just take your time, get it on, and you don't want to over tighten it. Everything you don't want to over tighten it, because if you do, you'll get a funny weird kink in the cable, and when you're shooting, you're zooming or anything, it'll give it a bump of a bad notch, and the director may not like that. Okay. So now we have that. We have the controls assembled. So now we're going to work on getting our viewfinder in place. So every viewfinder is different. The only thing that is the same is usually the plug-in for to get control of the image. Okay.
So basically, just center like that. Extend this out. Sometimes it's collapsed into here, so I just basically turned it like this, turn it out of here.
That's the way to pack it away.
Yeah.
When you're packing it away, you
And
turn it,
also-
and it'll go slight parallel to this plate.
Yes. Also, there is a shoe mount. I don't know if you can get this on shot there. Actually, let me turn it around.
Where you looking
All
for?
the way back for the shoe mounts back here. Let me turn it back. a
Your
little
arms are tight. So tighten
That's-
these. So make sure your arms are good and tight.
bit. So there's a shoe mount up here.
Oh yeah, shoe mount at the
where this
top
mounts in, right, with a monitor mounts in right here. It goes a triangle.
with the A-frame triangle mount. You slide it right on, and it will click. Look, I usually lock all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I never
You got it
assemble anything when it's unlocked.
Well, I kept it loose. to
Yeah,
do that,
no,
so.
never, because you could easily lose it. And and as you can see, sometimes you have a difference of agreement when you're assembling stuff. But the safest way, I'm basic, and I definitely here it is right here. So yep, and it goes right here on the side. Showed him, turn it around. Now he's going to show you where you patch the viewfinder into the camera. Just take your time. It's going to rotate. Everything rotates, and you'll find a guide to it. You could actually look on here, and it'll show you.
One thing I want to say is definitely, so Drew kept saying to me, take your time. You definitely want to take your time because you never want to force stuff in. Many times I've seen guys try to cram stuff in,
Oh, yeah.
and if you force in like the pins here, you can cause them to break, and that's expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. Okay, and so right now, so far we have everything assembled to make the camera, to allow the camera to function. Only two things left to do, guys.
Well, hold on a second before that.
Sure.
One thing, every time you add something to the camera, you always want to recheck the balance to make sure it stays balanced. So like here, it's tilting back a little bit. Let me take the slide plate right here. In the front. And slide over from forward. And also what I like to do with this is take this to zero, resistance to zero. Make it as loose as possible. So it's a little bit off.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm trying to move this to the back a little bit. So it's a little bit off, but for the most part, it's okay.
And he's just trying to find a proper balance in the so-called sweet spot. Okay, just be careful, because you hit that and you got a problem. I know. The plates are different. Most camera plates are different. Everything's nothing's standard in this business. If you've worked in production work, you come today and everything is one thing, and overnight somebody created something very new, and it's really popular, and people just fly to it. Okay, for right now, just put the tension on it. Yeah. Just put tension on it. Okay. All right, that's good enough for right now. Okay, because we're just giving you a basic understanding of how this goes. Okay, so from here, From here, we'll take and we're gonna attach power to it, which is our SMPTE cable, because this back in the days we used to use triax, but this is a new form of power, and it's called SMPTE cable. I wish I could tell you more about it. I'm not that versed in it, but it's a form of power that powers the camera up. And if you pay attention on here, show them. Yeah. Okay, this cable is real little. It's very strange looking. It has some kind of look like some lights in it, and it has a red notch on it, and it just that allows you. And up here on the back of the control, it shows you where you patch it into, and there's a marker right there. There's a red marker, and there's a red marker on here also. And if you just line that up, you could easily it'll easily assemble.
So right here, red marker is right about here. It's a small little slit.
Right. Take your time. Bam. It's in, just like that.
And over here, you may want to do a little bit more adjustments, like I said before.
Yes.
You said that's power over SMPTE?
Yes.
That's how you're getting your power?
Yes. This is actually the power that's gonna go to the camera.
That's, take your hand over it.
No, it's kind of back heavy. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, everything you add to the camera is adding more weight.
I think it's probably just some of these weights back here that might be throwing it off also. See?
Like that?
You see that? Yeah.
Okay.
Now you could back this up and balance it more. Yeah. See, so there's different ways to and just back it up now. And watch. It's gonna slide back. Once you no, don't. There it is. Here. Hold this and let me take care of that for you. Okay.
So Drew's actually
Come
going to work
around
on
here.
sliding it back,
Come around here.
slide it forward to get it balanced, because this release I'm not used to. But you have to put your time in. Literally at this point in time, all you have to do is just adjust it by like a couple of millimeters.
Yeah.
Maybe, really literally at this point in time, it's literally just a few millimeters. We'll give you a world of adjustment, or a world of a difference in operating camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's on.
So the hybrid cable, the hybrid SMPTE cable,
Mm-hmm.
two single mode fiber optic
There it
cables.
is.
Okay.
Plus 4 coax. And all the camera picture control and everything is done over the fiber optic cables. So you can actually break it out to a single mode cable and control the camera like over a much farther distance, up to about 28 miles.
Okay.
With the SMPTE cable, the
Well, you-
fiber cable, you're limited to about 1,000 meters.
Mm-hmm. Would you actually like to say this in the microphone? Because nobody can hear you. Okay, I'll come on.
Do we have another lock we could give Nate?
Do we?
Oh,
Okay. Actually, is it possible if you can widen out the shot to catch Nate?
okay.
So, all right. So as you were saying again about the SMPTE cable.
Yeah, so just to tell y'all a little bit about the SMPTE cable, that it's actually a fiber optic cable at its core, but it has four miniature coaxes in it also. So the only thing that the coax is for powering the camera, and the copper is for powering the camera and for what they call an engineering comm. So like you can have comm with the camera independent of producer comm, and everything else goes over the fiber optic portion of the cable. So it's two single mode fiber optic cables inside of the one hybrid cable. So, and like I said, we have boxes and cables that will break out the SMPTE fiber from the hybrid fiber, and it'll allow us to put like 28 miles between a camera and a CCU head. So you can do it over a very long distance. So
You don't need a booster for it? 28 miles. That's a long distance. Thank you very much, man. Yeah. Okay. Still, you got to work. All right.
It was kind of tight.
Oh, it's tight back there? Okay.
Slide it some more now. And from here, I'll just So, and when a model is a little older, you get a little tension and some from usage. Okay, from here I'll just I'll put a weight on it.
That's one thing with almost every camera build. Depending on the age of the gear, some of it may be worn down, or also basically everything is different. So you also have to spend a lot of time tinkering around with the gear in order to get it balanced.
You gotta speak up. We can't hear you over there.
Hey guys. Yes. So I was saying with the camera gear, sometimes you have to spend time tinkering around with it in order to get it balanced, in order to get everything to fit into place. So other than that, are you about done?
Okay,
Yes.
So far,
Yeah.
this particular build is a little cranky. It's just because it's a little older, and it's probably got a lot of usage in it. So it's just a little cranky, but you know, you just take your time with it. Everything will work out fine. So I was able to get it. I put enough tension on it. I had to add a weight or something to it. And in the back here, I don't know if y'all know that, but in the back there are weights, counterweights. And this will help you in finding a balance. But I shouldn't have had to, but because I'm having problems with the plate just sliding right now, I just took that which is a shortcut to stabilize it and get it into operation mode. So right now, we patched the cable to, we patched the SMPTE cable now, so now you have a live camera. And from here, this is the wonders of television production. And right here is your beginning to becoming a camera operator.
Basically.
Yeah. And,
So one thing I want to point out too.
So wait. Okay. So for a lot of guys who may not know this, one of the most important things of all, after adding power, building everything, you have to take the lens cap off. Because if you don't, you will not get an image. Okay, so.
A lot of times that happens. Isn't that why is it black? Why is it black? Do you take the lens cap?
Right. In essence, y'all, this is production. This is camera production, how to build 101, and we just took you through all the steps, fundamental steps of building the camera, and from here, there are other things. There's a lot of things that you still need to know. You know, just by seeing it and touching it one time doesn't make you an operator, but it's a great beginning.
Yes.
It's a great beginning. It definitely takes time.
Definitely takes time. I agree with that. So then I guess from here we move on to the next part where we'll go into some slides, and then also and you guys will move the camera over to that location over there. All right. So then, please advance slide, please. All right, so I also put some pictures up of cameras that you may come in contact with if you're on a job. These are some of the higher definition ones. This is an older camera right here. I'm not certain that model. But this one, I think I've used this a couple of times. Go on to the next slide. This is actually one I have used on a live event at one of the niche hotels here. This is, I think, the Panasonic HD. It's a 4K camera. And that's a monitor that I brought in, and that's a monitor that they had there. And a lot of times you may just be shooting with the available lighting. Next slide. And this one you may see a lot, was a Blackmagic Ursa Broadcast 2, a G2 camera. And from here you see a basic setup of the tripod, the head, and also the camera body, the lens, you see the attachments, which we just demonstrated to you right now, with the focus right here, the focus ring, the arm, and also the zoom attachment as well, and the monitor in the back. Next one. So here are some other camera models you may come in contact with on a job. These are some of the older ones. These higher end ones right here, like the Red and the Alexa, most likely on live events, you're not gonna work with a camera like that. That's more cinematography-based cameras. And also here you see specs on here, such as chip size, codec, chroma, sampling, pixel rate, max frames per second, and besides its ability to do gen lock if you link with multiple cameras, also the price as well is what it goes up to. Next slide. So here, a lot of people ask me about this. This is pretty integral with doing camera operations, which white balance. So basically, color temperature white balance is the section I'm talking about right now. So camera setting, white balance is a camera setting that compensates the color temperature of light to ensure that white objects appear white and colors are rendered accurately. Accurate colors. White balance ensures that colors in a photo look natural by having whites and grays appear neutral, even if light source casts a color. Preventing color cast is another advantage to white balance your camera. Without correct white balance, an image can have an unwanted color cast, making indoor shots appear warm or too orange, or outdoor shots, appear too blue. Like one example that I would say, like this light here is balanced at 56K. If you were to shoot, if that camera by any chance can go over to that light over there, or if you can pan up, you see the light above you, the incandescent light, you'll see that it's going at a 2700 or a 28 Kelvin, which is going to be much more yellower light. Or actually, if you go right here, this would be a great example. Me going out of this light to right here, and this is not, you balanced it for daylight, correct? Yes. So you see over here, I'm much more yellow. So that's a good reason to do a white balance of your cameras, because if you basically set the color temperature wrong, all your stuff is going, the color is going to look wrong. Next slide. So color temperature, measured in Kelvin, describes the warmth or coolness of a light source. Warmer light has a lower Kelvin, lower number, such as incandescent bulbs and I guess your compact fluorescents, roughly in that range. And then a higher number, which has a cooler light, has a higher Kelvin value, such as 5600K, which is traditionally considered daylight, but it can go as high as like say 6,000 or 6,500. So you see here, I made the low Kelvin warmer and the higher Kelvin blue. That's the main two things to remember about color temperature, is that outdoor light is more of a bluish light, indoor light is more of a yellowish light. And the reason why our eyes are not able to tell the difference between it is because we have receptors in the brain that automatically change with the available color, or with the available light source. But cameras don't have that ability. That even goes back to film cameras. So that's why you have to have, like, with lights, you have tungsten balance or daylight balance and filters to counteract that. Next slide. So here, I have the color temperature spectrum. So this is candlelight at 1000K. Incandescent is 2850, or 2700 to 2850. Fluorescent is 3800K. Daylight is 5000 to 5500K, depending on the time of day. So obviously, if it's morning time, or if it's like evening, early evening, it's going to be much more in the yellowish range. If it's daylight, it's roughly around 12 noon, it's going to be there. Cloudy, it's going to be kind of more of a grayish overcast. It's going to be 6500. Shade, 7500. And then sunless blue is going to be all the way up to 10K. Next slide. Here's another example for you to look at that basically talks about the same thing, and also goes into candlelight as well, or candle flames. Next slide. And here's a more detailed example that I provided for you that gives you specific information about whether it be cloudy, shade, or in shade, incandescent, fluorescent, or direct sunlight. And here you can see, based on this picture right here, the color temperature difference based upon incandescent, standard, direct sunlight, flash, and cloudy. And also you have this other graphic up here. Here, I provided different types of lenses. Most live event situations, you are not going to deal with prime lenses, but there are two main lenses to keep in mind. There are prime lenses and zoom lenses. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. I'm not stuttering, but slurring. But prime lenses pretty much are a fixed focal length, whether it be, say, 28 millimeters, 35 millimeter, 50 millimeter, which is in the normal, which is considered your normal, the human range of vision from left to right. And then when you get past 50 millimeter, past 60 millimeters is when you get more into what's a zoom or telephoto, which you see here, 45 to 135, medium telephoto, which is 135 millimeters, super telephoto, which is more like with the sports lens we have in the back there. Wide angle is when you get below, I would say 30 millimeters, or we'll say 35 millimeters, and that's when the image field of view widens out more, all the way to you get to fisheye lenses and tilt shift lens. Basically, a tilt shift lens is mostly used for architecture and landscape work, where basically you can shift the film plane or the lens plane and with the lens, and where you can basically, say if you're shooting a building and the edges go out like this, what a tilt shift lens will do is kind of straighten that. But also it changes the depth of field to where things are more out of focus around it, and also makes things look more miniaturized, kind of like you're looking at like a small scale, or looking at a small miniature model. Next slide. So this is focal length here. Camera focal length is the distance from the center of the lens to the camera's sensor, measured in millimeters, which determines the angle of view and the magnification of an image. Shorter focal lengths, e.g. wide-angle lenses, capture a wider field of view for landscapes, be an example. Longer focal lengths, such as telephoto lenses, have a narrower field of view, suitable for distant subjects like wildlife. And yes, as I said before, standard is roughly 50 millimeters, which is what normal human vision is. Next slide. Here, I have a graphic of basically how camera lenses work. 15 millimeter is much wider field of view. 35 millimeter is just here, or this is 20 millimeter. 35, this is 50 millimeter, your normal viewing range. And then you go further on to a 70, 200 millimeter, and 400 millimeter. So, and all that stuff is marked on the front of your lenses to tell you exactly what the range is, say if it's a zoom lens or if it's a prime lens. One thing I can say is definitely for live events, most of us use zoom lenses because, and the same thing with live news or ENG, because you can't use a 50 millimeter lens because you only have a fixed length. And if you say want to get closer to the subject, you literally have to pick the camera up and move in closer to get the shot. So with a zoom lens, you're able to push in and rack your focus to get a sharp image, and you stay in one position. You see it a lot, and I said live events, live news, sports, documentary work is another example. So here I go into exposure. Video exposure is the amount of light that reaches the camera's sensor, determined by the interplay of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Proper exposure balances these three elements to create a video that is neither too dark, which is underexposed, or also too bright, which is overexposed. A higher ISO amplifies the signal, which can lead to digital noise or graininess in the image. ISO, which is similar to exposure, on a camera is a measure of its sensor sensitivity to light, which a higher ISO producing brighter images but also more noise. Choosing the right ISO depends on lighting conditions. For bright sunny days, such as use a low ISO like 100, while for darker scenes, you'll need to increase the ISO, increase the sensitivity up to say 400, 800. Through this, you can make, photos will be more grainy, but also you'll get more light into it, the best way to put it to you. You can also often set a maximum ISO or auto ISO setting to prevent excessive noise. But that's one thing definitely if you have to worry about exposure is figure out what is your best sensitivity setting in the room. And that may, and honestly, that's something that takes a little bit of time to play with. One way I would say to start understanding which ISO or which works best in the room, or in whatever space you're in, is just to set it to auto, and then see what it does from there, and then you can play around with it. And after a while, you can walk into a room and automatically know, okay, this is what I need to have at 200, or this is what I need to have at 400, or 640, or 800. Generally, the rule is 800 or lower, you're usually shooting outside. 800 above, you're shooting inside. Next slide. So next thing is shutter speed and frame rates. The frame rate of video content is the number of individual frames shown to the viewer in 1 second. So people are familiar with 24 frames per second. That is what was for the longest time considered to be the standard. Well, it was the standard definitely when sync sound came into play in the mid-1920s, late 1920s. Before that, in order to film, basically, is a succession of still images to where your brain starts, when it gets fast enough, your brain starts to say it's all one continuous image. And then, so 18 frames per second or 16 frames per second is where motion picture starts. But in order for it to get to where it syncs with sound, it needs to be 24. Now, with 25 was a European standard, 30 was television standard, 48 is another standard that we use. 50 was PAL, 48 and 24 NTSC, 60 frames per second is kind of what things are more at now, because we have, basically after 2K is when 60 frames came out, because the slower the shutter speed, the more blur that you had. So they needed to have a faster shutter speed in order to make it a much more crisp image for digital. So next slide. Oh, well, okay, aperture, which actually what the next slide is about, is what I'm going to talk about. But aperture controls how much light actually enters the lens. A wide aperture, such as an f1.8, because they are called f-stops, is the almost widest that you can do on an aperture ring. I'll explain it more in a second. It lets in more light, which is ideal for low light photography and creating that beautiful blurred background, which is often called bokeh, where you see the images distorted in the background from you. A narrow aperture, like say f16, allows less light in, but keeps more of the scene in focus, making a good choice for landscapes and detailed photography. So this is an example of aperture right here. Going from your widest aperture, which is 1.4, f2, f2.8, 4, 5.6, f8, and on up to f32. So here you can see with the subject here, a shallower depth of field, more the image is a blur in the background from the subject. But as you continue on, you see everything is more in focus. But the thing about that is that since video and photography is what you're trying to do is create the illusion of 3D and a 2D spectrum, or 2D with a 2D image. So the way to create that is to have more things out of focus. So the higher the aperture is, which also requires more light, the more flat things look. Next slide. This right here, with aperture, shutter speed, and sensitivity brings the exposure triangle. All those are directly related to each other. So this is just a graphic to show you that. And this is something that definitely you guys should look at a little bit more, because if you understand the relationship between aperture, shutter speed, and exposure, you can basically take a still camera, if it has manual settings, or a video camera, and shoot at night with no lights whatsoever and get proper exposure. But that takes time. So that brings in depth of field, which is another factor. The range of distance in a photo or a shot that appears in focus is controlled by the aperture, focal length, distance from the subject, and the sensor size. A shallow depth of field has a limited focus range, making the background blurry. Deep depth of field keeps both the foreground and background in focus. Shallower depth of field can be created using a wider aperture. So, advance on. Go back. So this is an example. So basically, depth of field is the range in which things are in focus. As I said, with a wider aperture, you can create a more shallower depth of field, but have a much richer image, which you see here. With a more narrow depth of field, with a more narrow depth of field, more things are in focus, but it's also a flatter image. Go on to the next slide. Right here, what I did provide for you guys to play around with, if you go to this link right here, is a depth of field simulator. So if you want to click on that, go down to the link. No, I didn't load up. Hit allow, click allow. It won't let you do it? Oh, security warning. Is this touchscreen? No, it's not. I won't allow you to do it. Well, what I did provide for you guys in the slides is a depth of field simulator. It's available online at this link right here. If you click cancel. Go where you are now. Move over to your right. Move over to your right. More. Go back. A little bit more. About maybe an inch more. Stop. Now go up just a little bit. Go up. Click. Press click. Yeah, it's right there. It's highlighted blue. HTTPS. All right, that's it right there. So here, I provided this so everybody can just see. If you play with, say if you change the lens to, keep it at, take it down to 95, if you can. Oh, you can't see anything? Okay. Well, actually, we can skip over that. The thing is, if you click on this link right here, what you can do is you can change the focal length of the lens, the f-stop, and also and change the exposure. And you can see how bokeh changes or how your field of view changes in the shot. And that right there, because honestly, when it comes to understanding depth of field, it's just something you more kind of have to play around with to really understand it. Go on to the next slide. Okay.
Okay, hey, how much time do we have left? Because
Yeah.
we can let the guys get some
Hands on.
minutes, some touches on.
I was going to go into.
And Nate was actually going to give y'all introduction to the long glass also, and just so you'll kind of see, and you'll just you kind of get a look at it and understand how that operates also.
There you go.
That's it?
There you go.
Right. And Nate is in the back of the room, gives a wealth of information and knowledge on various types of
What did you
things.
want?
He's been in business for over 25 years, so he's done all major festivals, events, when you go to Jazz Fest and stuff like that, he's actually running the whole production. So he has a wealth of knowledge and information on various types of cameras, broadcasting information. So, you don't want to pass on an opportunity to find out or just ask questions on some stuff that you may not know or you're interested in and curious to. So over here, we set this camera up over here, and this is like to give you an idea of the studio config. And like we actually had it set up where you can actually get on, and then you can listen, and the guy
Yeah.
can give you a couple of calls and see if you can frame a shot because everything is about framing an introduction.
Yes. Actually, it's a good thing you said that because what I've done is advanced on from depth of field, and we're going to shot composition and camera movements.
Okay.
So yes. So actually, what Drew is saying is correct. So advance on the next slide. So this right here sounds like most of you guys have camera experience, but this is for those who don't. This is basically what's considered the rule of thirds. Basically, you have your tic-tac-toe line here. You have your lower thirds, your upper thirds, your left, and your right. The main thing to remember with this is probably the most important line right here for composing your shots, especially when you're doing talking heads, interviews, podium shots, whatever. You always want to, this is what's called the eye line. You always want to keep, however you frame your shot, basically, you always want to keep a person's eyes, which actually, he has it on the monitor over there. If you see it, but the shot's on me. My eyes are right on the upper third, and no matter how I move, you always want to say along there, because that's the reason why they call this the eye line, which actually, I'll just step up here to kind of play around a little bit, is that that psychologically is where most people, when they're looking at an image, is where their eyes are automatically drawn to. You see this whether in news, live events. So the main thing is however you set your shot up, as long as you keep it on the eye line, for the most part, you'll be pretty good. Go to the next slide. Here's another example of it with it right here, roughly along the eyes. Go to the next shot. And as I see here, hopefully I'll be allowed to have this. This is Margaret Ora. She's now retired from WDSU, but this is a live shot of her doing weather. And as you see, pretty much this is along the upper thirds, right along her eye point. And also she's looking off into the distance. That's another thing when it comes to shot composition. You want to follow your subject around, and generally, if like with her, she's looking off this way because she's looking at, this is really just a green screen, a green blank screen here. And so she has to look off to the side. Any meteorologist will tell you this. She has to look off to the side to see actually what these graphics are so she can actually point to stuff for people. But also, she's looking off this way. So generally, when you compose a shot, you want to have a little bit more lead room in the direction of where the speaker is looking. So whether I look over here or I look over there. Yeah.
What I like to say is, see this stuff here is called Chiron, and there's a shot called a compression shot, and this is what's called a compression shot. And when she's shooting, when she's doing that demonstration right there, the director is telling the camera operator compression shot, and for him that means he has to move the camera either a little bit to the left, out of frame, out of full frame, to allow this Chiron and all this information to be in the shot.
Next slide. So here's another example of basically it was considered an OC shot, on center shot of a news anchor speaking directly into camera, eye line right here. This is the graphics, which usually called lower third graphics. This would be relative example of a two-shot. Lower third graphics here, you have both of your subjects here, side to side. And also, with the background that they had here, you see most camera operators would line up with that right there to keep them on the eye line. This right here, as you see from Pulp Fiction, is another example of using the rule of thirds, where Vincent Vega, is on the lower third, his eyes right here, and Jules is pretty much, his name is Jules, right? Sam Jackson's character, pretty much on the upper third is how it's composed. Even though this is what basically is a, what kind of upshot would this be? Is it a Dutch angle?
Yes.
Is Dutch angle shot? Next slide. Here's another example of photography where you have basically the horizon on the upper third, but also the person is on the upper third as well. And they're also sitting over here on the right thirds, or right vertical thirds. Next shot. This is from Stanley Kubrick. This example of lines of symmetry, and he used that a lot in his movies, or angles just based upon how his shots are set up. You see the lines diagonally cascading in this way. Next shot. Another example from 2001, where you see with him about to go into the going out of the airlock. Next shot. And this is an example of all the frame guides that Stanley Kubrick used to compose his shots. From The Shining, I don't know what that movie is. This is 2001, another one, The Shining, and you see and so forth. And this is from, not Barry Manilow, I forgot the name of that movie. Go on the next shot, but I have that in slides. So here we go into camera movement. Paths of War, yes, yeah. Is it Paths of War or is it called Paths of Glory? War or Paths of Glory? Paths of Glory. Paths to Glory. Oh, sorry, thank you. So here, going to the movement, we'll toss back to Drew about camera movements. You have tilt up, tilt down, dolly in, dolly out, pan left, pan right, pedestal, which is basically pedestal down, which is basically moving the camera up and down on this right here. Yeah, you want it?
Okay, now dolly is actually a physical movement of the whole camera and tripod, and that's when it's on skates. That's the only time that you would dolly, and most times it's in a situation that's very controlled. You're gonna know exactly what you're doing, and you're gonna have absolute control of that whole situation, because the whole thing is riding on your motion and your movement. Yeah, it has wheels on it. It has another operation. It's called crabbing, and crabbing it just does a 360 move where you literally could just move like that, the whole camera. Yeah. So that's where you'll see that motion dolly. Now pad is another one, and all most of those motions you'll see in a studio, in a television studio, where they're doing like a production show, a kind of talking head or some type of broadcast. Wait, just a minute. Because pad up, that tripod would have a gas cylinder in it, and that cylinder would allow that camera to go up. Like if you watch any of those talking shows, independent political shows or anything like that, you might see them do a shot where the camera will go up, and usually it's in an opening or a closing of a program, and you'll see that the camera, it'll pad up, or they'll back away, and they actually do a dolly and a pad at the same time. All right, there you go.
Yeah, you see that also in news too, but go along with what you're seeing with that. The next slide. So for moving the camera on the Z-axis is called zooming in. Panning would be left and right, and then tilting would be when you're doing more like this. Go to the next slide. And here, we give another, just to reinforce the terms, camera movements. Dolly, moving forward in on with the tripod on wheels. Pedestal up and down. Truck left and right with its own wheels. Roll if you say you have the camera on a ball head. Tilt, which is moving up and down like this. And pan left and right. And next slide. A lot of times you may hear people say stuff like this. Pan up, pan down, yeah. So, but yet that's just not say it like that, that's all. But other than that, yeah, we can move on to camera movements from here.
Yeah, if you hear somebody say pan right, you're in trouble.
No, not pan right.
Not pan right, exactly.
You can pan right. You said pan right. No, when they say pan up, pan down, tilt left, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I heard tilt right.
Yeah, they get
Also-
it mixed up with the pan.
Also a good example, if you're, he's following me around the room, so yeah, let's talk about pan, I was moving this way and then going back this way. So. Yes. Okay, so.
It's the one that doesn't allow you. But sometimes people get
Oh, I'm
excited
really
when
good.
they say, oh, tilt, 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 tilt. You know, tilt right, tilt left.
Are you able to get a shot of us over here? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think so. Sorry, too far off. All right, so I'm sorry about that, my man. I thought you might be get past that column.
No, yeah, I'm out of
Yes. All right, then. So I guess now we're going to hands-on.
built over here.
So everybody, move on this way to hands-on.
Look, I
Thank you
can
guys for your
bring it
time.
over this way too. And, you know, because we can use each other as examples of,
Yeah.
Stuff to shoot.
Are we able to? Hold on a second.
Right around here is your tilt. Oh, sorry. Okay, all right. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna move to the stage again for the long camera, so he can record some of the stuff. Okay. So give me a second.
So one thing to keep in mind about, while you guys are setting the camera up here, one thing to keep in mind with speakers is generally you're going to come across about 3 types of speakers talking on stage. You're going to have the one that is going to present directly to the camera and not move whatsoever. Then you'll have one that when they speak, they'll just start taking 3 steps to the right or 3 steps to the left like this, talk a little bit, and then move over this way a little bit, 3 times. Usually that's what you see. Or you have what's also called the runner, which is like you saw me do earlier, where they'll just come out and speak to people in the audience, or they'll just wander around the entire room. And the thing is that you have to do the best you can to anticipate what that person is going to do. And a lot of it's just follow. If you just look at their faces and you follow them, you'll see where they're going to kind of indicate where they're going to move to next. But also that takes time and practice. Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm showing you a basic setup. Usually we'll take this cable and we'll put it here, and that's for tension relief. And usually underneath here is a hook that will allow you to hook this cable right there out of the way. And that's for your tension relief. Your basic setup and build is like this. You wanna set your tripod up in this fashion here, 1 foot forward. That's for any weight discrepancies, and because you want to also always support your lens. Right here, this will allow you to step in closer to your camera, so you can get you can engage and be almost one with the motion of panning or tilting, you know. And here's your tilt. Okay, so if you like, y'all can step right up and get you some hands on. Okay, for me in a setup, I like to build mine like this, but for other people, they would like to do other things. Everybody has a different kind of quirk about how they like their arms controls and stuff, but I was always taught to have this almost in unisons, so I could have good control over it in case something slips, because every once in a while, stuff could get worn from usage, so something might do a little something, but you always have you have better control. If you don't mind, guys, you step right up, and I'm shooting right at the other camera. Okay, here you go.
That's okay.
And here, okay. Okay, so Elliot is going to step up first. Okay. Yep, that's your zoom. This your focus right here. Okay. Zoom. Okay, I was kind of thrown off by the camera because I see they have some kind of close-up block that when you zoom in, it magnifies it to help you get your focus, which is pretty good. I like that. But I didn't expect that at all, so it kind of threw me off. Yeah, see?
When it zooms in like that, you want to make sure you get a sharpness on the eyes, because that's what people are always looking for. Or at least a video operator is going to tell you always check your focus. So once the eyes are in focus, you're good.
You could come this way too. You just pan this way. Just come on, pan. Don't be afraid. Come step around. Because when you're shooting, you never know what you're gonna have to do. And especially in this city, we have Mardi Gras balls, all kind of stuff. So you'll be shooting straight ahead, and next thing you know, somebody's coming out behind you, and the director's saying to you, swing around. Exactly. So you want to make sure that you have fluid motion to be able to do almost a 360.
So zoom's on down, right?
Yeah, yes, your zoom controls right here. Here's your focus. Yeah, you zoom in. Zoom into something, get a focus on it. Yeah, there you go, back out, yeah. Now try something else. What about that image way in the back corner there? See that image behind that gentleman? Yeah, let's see what you can do with it. Get your focus. Oh, man, that magnifier that's a cheat. That is a cheat. That is a cheat, guys. Most people don't have that. Dude, I have to put glasses on. That's good. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, you can't say, well, it's the lens or something.
I didn't have time to focus.
Right. That is awesome.
One thing I do recommend.
Robinson, you want to come up? Always, no, never just walk away. Always, we always put tension on it. So, this is the tilt. I would put tension on the tilt, and I would just walk away because it could tilt and you could damage your lens. Robinson, if you like, you can step right up. I'm sorry, Nate. Yeah, especially on the big lens. Yeah.
And if it falls, you're fired.
Oh, fired? Man, you're getting shot. You're getting shot by the crew. That's a joke. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. Okay, and that's for the SMPTE cables. Yeah, I heard that. Okay, okay. Okay, all right. But most times they'll tell us not to run over them, period, and we always try to be respectful of that. Okay. Oh, good. Right. Oh, wow. Yes. Woo. Oh man, that's incredible. Okay, guys. Hey, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you. Nate was explaining to us with the SMPTE cables here. These cables are very durable when they're flat. He said, as long as they're laying flat, they're very durable and strong. He says the only problem is when they curved in a 45-degree angle. He says the tighter it gets, it starts to fragment and break the glass, the fiber inside of it. So you always want to make sure that these never get bunched up. Oh yeah, get a knot in it. Yeah. But underneath here, there's usually a hook. Yeah, there's usually a hook. No, it's just usually a hook. They usually have a hook underneath here, and this is where you secure your cable. You always want to make sure you have enough slack. You'll have it hang down a little bit, and it's just for that. But you always want to step into it. You never want your arms lined up with your legs like this. You want them always in the center of this open space, and that's for you to get in closer if you have to. You never know what's going on around you. Somebody might have to get past you.
Like you said, the Mardi Gras balls, and you spin around to
Yeah,
catch that hole,
yeah. Yeah.
shot.
Well, then,
Pan back to the stage.
yeah. Well, you got to remember these legs don't move. Only thing that's gonna move is just this head. In that instance, you're gonna step back anyway because you have to step over this, over these legs to move. But and you just want it to be a nice fluid motion. You want to try to keep your horizon level as possible, and you just want to catch action. And that's the whole name of the game, you know, is finding the shot, framing the shot, and delivering the action, you know, delivering the action for the production. So another thing in production, if y'all don't mind, let me get over here, I'll show you. When we're shooting, you know, they don't tell you, but as you get experience with shooting, the director, he may not tell you, but you know, if you're not hot, and we usually have tallies, they have a tally light, which is right back here, and when this light is red, it means that you're hot, and that means your camera is on. And most times, you know, you try not to move unless the director asks you to do a push-in. And you know, most times they're going to tell you exactly how they want you to do it. You know, most times it's a moderate motion, it's a nice consistent motion. And in the front here, also the tally, which is up here, and that's for the talent to see. You know, so to let them know. Yeah, and also we have returns where you can check by the control knob right here. You can press this, and it'll show you returns. See right here? See that? You can go into returns, and then you can see what the other person is shooting or what's up on the screen. But you don't want to stay on that too long because you could lose what's going on with you, and the director being switched to you, and you'll be stuck looking at what's on the screen, and the next thing you know, it's you. You know, you're a starter, you know.
Another thing when you get on camera, and Drew knows this, it's always when you get on behind a camera for the first time, always practice your shots.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to, if you can, yeah. Well, rehearsal. The thing is that just get in there, figure out where your center shot's going to be on the podium, figure out what kind of two shot you get. Say if they're going to have a couch out there at some point in time for a conference or a group discussion, figure out what your movements are. Practice zooming in and zooming out on the podium, and zooming in and zooming out on the couch, because you want to basically have shots to where you can sell to the director.
Yeah, you hear that
Yeah.
word?
Sell the shot. Yeah, sell the shot. Yes.
Key thing.
Yes.
With experience, you have to know that when you're not hot, if you're not hot, you need to find what's going on in pertaining to whatever production you're working on. And the better you are, the more you can identify and find stuff that's worthy to be displayed or put on camera. So that's a word that you may not hear unless you're doing a concert or something. The director might say, "Hey man, sell me something," you know. And then that's what they mean, sell me a shot. And that's you when you're not hot, to look around. So most times you'll actually see a guy shooting, and he might be actually shooting somebody, and he's literally looking around too to see what his next shot is going to be. Yeah. You know, because he's going to try to sell that shot to the director. You know, and that's like I said, most times that's in a action, high-paced situation. You're doing a ball, you're doing a dance, you're doing a concert, you know, stuff like that. You know, so you're trying to keep action going. Yes.
Also, when you're practicing your zoom and your pans, start slow. Do slow movements. It's always about slow movements, unless, like, say, the person's darting across the room. It's always just follow the action and just learn how to accelerate and decelerate in a smooth, fluid motion.
Slowly.
Slow. Start slow, and then you learn how to do it fast.
Because if you go too fast, you can go in and out, in and out.
So, anybody have any questions? You got a question? Okay.